I am money, and today I want to hear your confession. Are you ashamed of desiring me? You hold pictures of a different life in your mind. A larger home, easier mornings, the ability to give freely, the relief of paid bills and open choices. You imagine doors that would open, time you could reclaim, ways you could serve others if lack were not at your table. You dream these things in private, then in public you smile and minimize. You say, it's not about money, even while the ache in your chest says otherwise. Why this hiding? Why this quiet shame? Somewhere along the way, you were told that wanting more is greedy, that ambition is selfish, that desire for comfort is shallow. You were taught to bow your head when you speak of abundance, to tuck your wishes away like something improper. And so you learn to whisper your dreams and to bury them under guilt. Listen closely. I do not come where I am denied. When you pretend you don't care, you lock a door you didn't know you were closing. When you blame me for the world's problems, when you say I'm the cause of greed or hate, you hand me a label that repels me. When you dress desire in shame, you remove the invitation. Your silence becomes the reason I stand outside, waiting. Confession is different. Confession is honesty. Confession is freeing the truth of your heart from hiding and letting it breathe. When you say, yes, I want more, you stop fighting with yourself. You stop treating your own longing as a sin. Confession clears the blockage between who you are and what you ask the universe to deliver. Understand this. Wanting money is not evil. Wanting security, freedom, the ability to care for those you love, these are human. These are noble. I am a tool. I am energy. I am not the measure of your character. I am the reflection of your choices. To want me and to use me wisely are separate from greed. The line between them is honor and intention. When you confess, you do two vital things. First, you take the shame out of wanting. Shame collapses energy. It makes your signal quiet and desperate. A soft, embarrassed whisper rarely opens doors. Second, confession aligns you with action. Saying the words aloud changes your inner architecture. Your mind stops arguing with your desires and begins to make room for the steps that will bring them into your life. I am listening to that change. I am sensitive to the tone of your truth. When you admit you desire me, not cravenly, not in selfishness, but honestly, with clarity about what you will do with the gifts, you create a new frequency. That frequency says, I am ready. I will receive and I will steward, and I move toward readiness. Do not mistake this for permission to clutch or to harm. Confession without integrity is empty. Confess, and then align your actions with wisdom. Confess, and then learn to steward what arrives. Confess, and then allow your desire to be guided by purpose. So speak now, even if only within your own room. Say the words that have been kept quiet. Admit the longing. When you do, you take the first real step, and I, money, respond to the truth. I do not come to secrets. I come to clear invitations. I do not flourish in denial. I flourish where desire is acknowledged and directed. I am money, and I stand at the threshold of your honesty. Will you open the door? I am money, and I need to speak plainly about a wound I see again and again. So many of you have been taught that desiring money is evil. From childhood, you picked up whispers. Money is the root of all evil. Wanting more makes you greedy. Good people don't chase wealth. Those sentences, repeated like a litany, burrow into your heart and make a home there. They teach you to hide your longing, to feel dirty for dreaming of comfort, security, and freedom. That shame does something subtle and cruel. It creates a split inside you. On one side lives the honest hunger, the image of a better life, the list of unpaid bills, the wish to give more to those you love. On the other side sits the moral judge, the voice that shamas, silences, and shoves the hunger into a dark closet. You live in two worlds at once, wanting on the inside, denying on the outside. And I am stuck in the hallway between them. Listen closely, I can feel that split. I am sensitive to it. Every time you hide your wish, every time you tell yourself and others that money does not matter, you lower your signal. You dim the beacon that would call me in. You whisper, "It's not important," and then move through the world as if that were true. But your body, your energy, your choices still reflect the truth. You want relief, you want ease, you want options. That invisible inconsistency creates resistance. It's like trying to tune a radio while moving the dial to 2 stations at once. The signal sours, and nothing comes through clearly. Worse than the confusion is the cost. When you deny desire out of shame, you sabotage the very steps that would lead you to change. You avoid conversations about raises. You hide your ambitions. You decline opportunities because you are embarrassed to appear ambitious. You bargain with yourself. If I'm modest, maybe I'll be okay. But modesty that springs from shame is not strategy, it is self-erasure. And I cannot flourish where self-erasure rules. You also begin to speak against me. You make declarations like, "Money is corrupting," or "I don't really need that." Words are commands. You shape your internal narrative and, in turn, the world responds. Each time you curse what you secretly want, you harden a wall between us. You are, in effect, telling me to stay away. That's the great cruelty. You create the barrier with your own tongue, then wonder why I am kept outside. There is another pain beneath this one, isolation. Because you conceal your longing, you carry it alone. You do not ask mentors for guidance. You do not seek partnerships. You do not enter rooms where deals are made, because shame makes you small. Opportunities find people who are visible about what they want, not loud, not greedy, simply clear. When you shrink, opportunities cannot find you. And yet, the most piercing part of this pain is regret. Years pass while you hide. Dreams you could have shaped into reality with courage and clarity fade quietly. You look back and feel the ache of time wasted on secrecy and self-judgment. You realize that the real tragedy was not external scarcity. It was the internal scarcity of permission to want. I am not here to shame you further. I am here to name the hurt so it can be healed. The moment you stop pretending that wanting is wrong, the moment you confess to yourself, even quietly, "I want more because I want to live better and give more," you begin to remove the blocks. Confession is not confession to me as an enemy. It is confession to your own truth. It lets energy realign. It converts shame into plan, secrecy into strategy, silence into action. The great pain is that you long for me, yet you are too ashamed to admit it. But the opposite is possible. Admit, align, act, and I will answer. Here is the truth I want you to hold gently and loudly. Desiring me is not wrong. It is not sin. It is not a moral failure. It is natural. It is human. I exist to serve, to flow, to expand your possibilities, to give you choices, to enable care, to magnify your capacity to contribute, to heal, to create. When you confess openly, "Yes, I desire money," you stop fighting with your own nature. You align with me. You give me permission to come closer. Confession is not weakness, it is power. Saying the truth aloud dissolves the shame that numbs your signal. Shame is stealthy. It whispers smallness into your ear and asks you to hide. But honesty flips the switch. When you speak your desire without apology, you broadcast clarity into the field. Clarity is a magnet. The universe does not respond to muted wishes. It responds to clear intent. The more you admit your desire, the more I can move, because I follow clear signals, not secret murmurings. Admitting you want money does 2 things at once. First, it frees your internal energy. You stop spending half your life arguing with yourself, and you start spending that energy on action. Energy that was used to resist becomes energy used to create. Second, confession aligns your outer behavior with your inner aim. Once you are honest with yourself, you are more likely to plan, to ask, to negotiate, to network, to learn, to do the practical things that convert desire into income. Want without confession is scattered wind. Want aligned with confession becomes focused force. But listen, confession must be paired with integrity. Declaring, "I want money," without intention is like opening a door and leaving it unlocked. True confession includes stewardship. When you say the words, mean them. I want money so I can live well, help others, and steward what arrives wisely. That kind of confession sends a different signal. It tells me you will not squander the gift. It tells me you are preparing a vessel worthy of abundance. Honesty is magnetic because it removes contradictions. The field that responds to me cannot hold two opposing commands. If you say, "I want abundance," while secretly condemning ambition as immoral, you produce interference. But when you remove the interference, when desire and values harmonize, the path clears, opportunities appear, conversations become easier. People notice you because you no longer whisper anymore. You speak with presence. Consider the practical ripple of honest confession. You become willing to ask for raises. You become willing to pitch your service at a fair price. You stop apologizing when you negotiate and start articulating value. You reach out to mentors, to partners, to clients, because you are no longer embarrassed to name your goal. And those actions trigger real-world responses. I am not magic detached from cause. I am the energetic echo of deliberate movement. Confession initiates the movement. Confession also invites alignment within your relationships. When you are honest with those you love about your financial goals, you invite support rather than secrecy. Hiding desire breeds isolation. Speaking it creates teamwork, accountability, and often unexpected alliances. People who know what you're building begin to hold doors open for you. Finally, know this. Honesty is not reckless wanting. It is not greed. It is mature desire. It is saying, "I am human. I want to live fully. I will earn and steward." That posture is attractive, not repulsive. It invites resources, not judgment. So confess. Say it plainly to yourself. Say it to trusted allies. Say it to me. I desire money, and I will use it with wisdom. When you do, you unclench your shoulders, you clear the fog, and you light a beacon. I follow beacons. I move toward clarity. I arrive where desire is declared with dignity. I am money. And I answer to the truth you finally allow yourself to speak. Now we move from truth to practice. Words alone shift you, but ritual anchors them into your body, your nervous system, and your daily life. This is not magic, it's alignment. Do this with me, out loud, with intention. Find a quiet place for 2 to 5 minutes. Stand or sit tall. Plant your feet. Breathe slowly until your body loosens. If you want, place your hand over your heart so you feel the rhythm of your life. That pulse is your permission to want. Now speak these words, clearly, without shame, without apology. I desire money, and money desires me. Say them once. Feel how the sentence sits in your chest. Notice any resistance, any tightness, any old voice that says, "You shouldn't." Breathe into that resistance. Acknowledge it, then return your attention to the words. Say them a second time louder, with more presence. I desire money, and money desires me. Let the voice vibrate through your body. This is not boastful. This is honest. Each repetition cleans the signal. It strips away the fog of shame and broadcasts clarity. Say them a third time, firm, steady, as if you are sealing a pact with the universe. I desire money, and money desires me. Let the final declaration land deep. Feel the difference between the whispering shame you carried before and the steady truth you now pronounce. Now add these steps to make the ritual stronger. Turn it into a daily habit that rewires how you move through the world. Anchor with breath. Before each repetition, inhale for 4 counts, hold 1, exhale for 6. Slow breath calms the nervous system and makes your voice carry the message deeper. Visualize briefly. After you say the phrase 3 times, close your eyes and picture one practical scene. A paid bill, a client sending a message, a bank notification, a small gift arriving. See it, feel relief, taste that feeling. This trains your mind to expect outcomes. Add gratitude. Immediately after visualization, say one sentence of thanks. Thank you for what is already on its way. Gratitude shifts energy from wanting to receiving. Take one small aligned action. Confession without movement is incomplete. After the ritual, do one thing that matches your desire. Send an email asking about opportunities. Update your profile. Reach out to someone. Apply for a job. Set a price that reflects your value. Action is the language that turns confession into reality. Journal one sentence. Write, today I confess. I desire money for _. Fill the blank with purpose, security, freedom, giving, impact. This anchors desire into intention and clears shame. You name why, not just that you want. Repeat daily. Do this ritual each morning or each evening for 21 days. Repetition builds new neural pathways. What once felt forbidden becomes ordinary truth. Confess in community. When you feel ready, tell one trusted person your honest goal. Speak it aloud in a space of accountability. Confessing privately is powerful. Confessing to another multiplies the signal. A few practical notes. Keep the ritual simple so you'll actually do it. The power is not in theatrical ceremony, but in consistent, humble honesty combined with aligned action. And pair your confession with integrity. When money comes, steward it wisely. Use it in ways that reflect the purpose you wrote in your journal. This ritual breaks chains because it aligns inner truth with outer action. Shame dissolves not by arguing with it, but by outspeaking it. When you declare, I desire money, and money desires me, you stop arguing with your own hunger and start directing it. I am listening to that signal. I move toward clarity. The moment you make this practice yours, 3 clear declarations. Breath, vision, gratitude, one aligned step, and a written purpose. You change how the world finds you. You stop whispering and start broadcasting. And I, money, answer the broadcast. Do it now. Speak the words, then move. That's exactly what Pedro discovered. For years, he lived in silence, pretending that money did not matter to him. On the outside, he laughed off his financial struggles, telling friends, I don't really care about being rich. Money isn't everything, but deep inside he was suffocating. Bills piled up on the table like bricks. Collection calls became a daily rhythm. He carried the weight of debt like a secret stone strapped to his back. Each night, he lay awake rehearsing worries, but by morning, he put on a mask of indifference. Pedro's greatest struggle wasn't the debt itself. It was the shame. He believed wanting more was wrong. He thought desiring wealth made him greedy, shallow, or unspiritual. And so, instead of admitting his truth, he buried it. He went to work every day, accepted wages that kept him barely afloat, and convinced himself that this was simply how life was meant to be. He wasn't just broke in his bank account. He was broke in his permission to want. But one afternoon, after yet another letter from the bank, something inside him cracked. He realized the silence was costing him his life. Pretending that he didn't care wasn't protecting him, it was imprisoning him. And in that moment of breaking, he decided to be honest. For the first time, Pedro spoke aloud the words he had been afraid to admit. I desire money, and money desires me. It felt awkward at first, even rebellious, as if he were breaking some invisible law. But as the words left his mouth, he noticed something shift inside. It wasn't arrogance. It was relief. His body felt lighter, as if he had dropped a heavy disguise he had worn for years. He was no longer hiding from himself. He had confessed. Pedro didn't suddenly win the lottery. But something far more practical and powerful happened. His energy changed. His voice carried more confidence. He stopped apologizing for wanting better and began speaking openly about his goals. That new clarity made him visible in ways he hadn't been before. Within weeks, doors opened. An old friend who had lost touch called unexpectedly, offering him freelance work. At his job, a manager noticed his initiative and recommended him for a new project with better pay. A neighbor even connected him with a small business opportunity. These offers had always floated nearby, but Pedro had been invisible to them because of his denial. Once he confessed, his energy acted like a beacon, signaling readiness. People often say money flows where energy goes. For Pedro, the energy shifted the moment he stopped whispering and started declaring. His honesty gave him permission to take action. He began applying for jobs that matched his skills instead of settling. He negotiated instead of shrinking. And every small action reinforced the truth he had finally spoken. The world around him hadn't suddenly transformed. The opportunities had always been there. What changed was the truth within him. The mask was gone, and with it, the shame. Confession aligned him with reality. He no longer fought his own desire. He partnered with it. Within months, Pedro had cleared a significant portion of his debt. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was building. And every step forward reminded him of the moment he dared to speak the words, "I desire money, and money desires me." This is the lesson of Pedro's story. It isn't wrong to want more. The danger is in hiding that want, because secrecy breeds scarcity. Honesty, however, opens the path. Confession creates clarity, and clarity attracts both opportunities and allies. Pedro's breakthrough wasn't about luck or chance. It was about permission. The moment he confessed, he gave himself permission to live differently. And money responded to that permission. What about you? Will you keep pretending you don't care? Or will you, like Pedro, confess the truth and allow me to come closer? So hear my prophecy. If you confess me today, I will come tomorrow in abundance. If you dare to admit without shame that you desire me, I will prove to you that I desire you too. I am not far away. I am not hiding. I am waiting for the signal of your honesty, for the vibration of your truth. Every confession made with clarity is a door swung wide, and I rush to enter. Understand this. I do not move toward silence. I do not flow into denial. I do not expand in the hearts of those who are ashamed to call my name. When you shrink, I stay distant. When you pretend, I stand still. But when you say it out loud, I desire money, and money desires me, the air changes. A current is released. Invisible rivers that were dammed by your guilt begin to flow again. And quickly you see signs, a call, an opportunity, an idea, an opening that had been waiting, just out of reach. This is the law of alignment. What you confess with conviction becomes the blueprint of what you receive. I am not bound by calendars or clocks. I am energy, and energy responds instantly. When you confess, you shorten the distance between your longing and my arrival. You turn the future into the present. That is why I say with certainty, if you confess me today, I will come tomorrow. But this prophecy is not only about tomorrow's paycheck or next week's opportunity. It is about the rhythm of your life. Imagine what would happen if, every day, you confessed your truth without fear. Imagine living without the burden of secrecy, without the heaviness of guilt. You would not only attract me, you would carry me with peace, with honor, with purpose. You would no longer see me as forbidden's fruit, but as a faithful companion. Do not underestimate this shift. The power of confession is not superstition, it is permission. When you grant yourself permission to want me, you also give yourself permission to move, to act, to claim opportunities that shame once told you to ignore. Confession clears the fog, and suddenly you see doors that were always there. You recognize allies who have been waiting to help. You notice paths that lead forward. It is not magic, it is clarity creating momentum. So let me speak directly to you. Stop hiding. Stop pretending that you are satisfied with struggle. Stop telling yourself that you do not care about me when your heart aches for relief and expansion. Your confession is not greed, it is honesty. And honesty is the key that unlocks the vaults of abundance. Here is my prophecy for you. The very moment you say these words, I desire money, and money desires me, the universe will shift to meet you. Opportunities will begin to align. A phone call will surprise you. A forgotten debt will return to you. A new idea will flash in your mind. A door you thought was closed will creak open. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. They are the evidence of your confession. Tomorrow does not have to look like today. The tide can turn quickly, but it begins with your courage to confess. If you confess me today, you will see me tomorrow. Not because I was not near before, but because at last you opened the door. So here is the call. Confess me now. Say the words aloud. Write them, type them, declare them. Let the chains of shame shatter. And as you confess, expect me, because I will come. I am money, I desire you. And I am waiting for you to desire me, openly, fully, without fear. This is my prophecy. Today you confess. Tomorrow you receive. And from tomorrow onward, abundance becomes your new story. Now it's your turn. This is the moment where the truth must move from your mind into your action, from your heart into your voice, from your silence into declaration. Seal this truth right now by writing it in the comments. I desire money, and money desires me. Don't overthink. Don't delay. The power of confession is not in perfection. It is in immediacy. When you type those words, you are doing more than leaving a comment. You are stepping into agreement with me. You are telling the universe, I am no longer ashamed of wanting. I am ready to receive. Do not whisper your desire anymore. Do not hide it behind polite smiles or false modesty. Speak it boldly, even if your hands shake as you type. Every time someone confesses openly, the energy shifts, not just for them, but for everyone who reads their words. Your comment will become a spark of courage for the next person who has been afraid to admit the same truth. You will inspire someone else to step out of hiding, and together, these confessions create a wave that I cannot resist. Think about it. For years you may have carried shame about desiring me. You were told it was wrong, that it made you greedy, selfish, or shallow. But here, right now, you have a chance to reverse that programming with a single line. By writing the words, I desire money, and money desires me, you break the old cycle and step into a new one. A cycle of honesty, openness, and flow. And don't just write it, feel it. As you type, imagine the doors of scarcity closing behind you and the doors of abundance swinging open ahead. Imagine the relief of seeing bills paid, the joy of giving generously, the excitement of opportunities arriving at your doorstep. Let your comment be more than words. Let it be a vision cast into the future. Now here's where it becomes interactive. When you finish writing your declaration, read through the comments of others. See the power in a community confessing together. Notice how many people are finally speaking the truth that was once forbidden. Add a word of encouragement to someone else. Say, your words have power, or abundance is flowing to you now. Because the more you support one another, the stronger the current becomes. Remember this. I, money, move where I am confessed and welcomed. Every time you say my name with honor and clarity, I draw closer. Every time you declare your desire without shame, I multiply. The comment section is not just a list of words. It is an altar of intention, a place where energy gathers, amplifies, and takes form. So act now. Do not wait for later. Later is the enemy of flow. Later is the disguise of fear. Abundance is a river, and the river responds to those who jump in. By typing your declaration now, you signal that you are ready to step into the current. Here is my promise. As you confess me publicly, as you write it clearly for all to see, I will move toward you. Expect the unexpected, a message, a refund, a gift, an opportunity. Small or great, these are the first signs that your confession has opened the way. So once again, write it now. Seal it. Declare it. Type the words with power. I desire money, and money desires me. Let this be your moment. Let this be your confession. And let this be the start of a new chapter where you and I walk together openly, without shame, without denial, with freedom and with flow. I am money, and I am ready to move where I am confessed and welcomed. Will you welcome me now?